Hello, salam alaikum, and good morning, my dear all friends. It's me, Ahmad Rashid Ahmadzai, again with a new English lecture, starting with the name of most merciful and most compassionate. Before starting our today's lecture, I want you all to like and subscribe my YouTube channel. Today, the lecture is about present progressive or present continuous tense. Before talking about present progressive tense, let's talk about progressive and continuous. What are the difference between progressive and continuous? They both are completely similar. It's belong to the speaker or it is belong to the user that which one do they want to use. It's belong to their choice. But we use there is a small difference that we use progressive to talk about those actions which are in progress, but we use continuous for those verbs that they are ongoing, and also for purposes we can use from continuous. So far we can say that we can replace continuous with progressive and progressive with continuous. So today we are going to talk about present progressive tense. Before talking about present progressive tense, I want to just review our previous lesson that we studied that tense talk about occurrence and non-occur action, and also we studied that tense are divided into three main tenses, which are simple present tense, simple past tense, and simple future tense. Also we studied that simple present tense is further divided into present perfect, progressive, and present perfect progressive. That today we are going to talk about present progressive tense. Now, what is present progressive tense? Before talking about the uses, before talking about the structure of present progressive tense, let's define briefly present progressive tense. Present progressive tense show the actions that are continuing or that are ongoing at the moment of writing or speaking. Simple. It means when we are talking about the action which are happening or which are ongoing at the moment of writing or speaking, it means we can use from present progressive tense. For example, I'm teaching English now. And this sentence, by using now and also by using the present participle, it means when we are using verb plus an ing, as I mentioned in my previous lesson, also I mentioned here as a note that when we use verb plus an ing on the time, we call the form of the verb as present participle form of the verb. Okay, let's talk about the usage of present progressive tense. That where can we use present progressive tense? The first important place that we can use present progressive tense is to describe the pictures. It means that when we're talking about the pictures or when we are describing the pictures, on the time we can use from present progressive tense. For example, just pretend that there is a picture and I'm describing the picture. I consider the man is wearing a black suit. The second usage of present progressive tense is that we use it to talk about temporary action. What are temporary action? Temporary action are those actions that they are not permanent. For example, is eating a lot at the moment. At the moment, these days or now on, or for, using now at the moment and also at these days, we can talk about temporary habits. It means by sometimes expression like at the moment, like now, like these days, we can talk about temporary action in present progressive tense. The third usage of present progressive tense is that we use present progressive tense to talk about unfinished actions. And what are unfinished actions? What are unfinished actions? Are those actions that they are not finished, they are ongoing. For example, I am studying English now. It means that my action is ongoing. I may study English for many further hours. Let's talk about the fourth place that we else use present progressive tense. The fourth place that we can use present progressive tenses to talk about temporary situation. What are temporary situations? Temporary situations are those situations, as I mentioned in here, that they are not permanent. For example, I consider I'm staying in US for a few days. By using a few days or by using now or at the moment, we can talk about temporary situations. The fifth place that we use present progressive tense to talk, and fifth usage, it says that we also can use present progressive tense to talk about definite future plans. What are definite future plans? Definite future plans are those plans that they are completely different and particular, and we can use present progressive to talk about. For example, that I already got an appointment to meet Ajmal tomorrow. So far, I considered Ajmal is meeting me tomorrow. It means we use present progressive tense with a future definite meaning. The sixth place that we can use present progressive tense is to talk about annoying habits. What are annoying habits or annoying action? What are annoying actions? By using some adverbs, for example, usually, constantly, and forever, we can talk about annoying action. For example, you are forever spending or wasting your time. Okay, let's talk about the structure of present progressive tense. Till now, we talked about the usage of present progressive tense. We defined present progressive tense, and now on, we're going to talk about the structure of present progressive tense. That how can we just make the sentence for present progressive tense? The formative structure or the assertive structure for present progressive tense is subject plus subject plus verb, to be verb plus verb ing plus complement. In this part, we can say like this one: subject plus am is or is to be plus verb ing or present participle form of the verb and plus complement, or if there is any object or receiver, we can mention it. Subject plus to be plus verb ing plus complement. For example, I'm teaching now. If you want to change this formative structure to interrogative structure, on the time you only place the subject or replace the subject with the to be verb. It means you need to place the to be verb at the beginning of your sentence. For example, we used am, so far we need to use am at the beginning of our sentence to change our assertive sentence to interrogative form. For example, am I teaching now? And do not forget to use a question mark at the end of your interrogative sentence. And if you want to change it to negative form, on that time the structure is subject plus to be plus not plus present participle form of the verb, which is verb ing and plus complement. For example, I'm not teaching now. It is the negative form or negative structure. And the negative interrogative structure without contraction is to be verb plus subject plus not plus verb ing plus complement. For example, am I teaching now? And do not forget to use a question mark at the end of your negative interrogative structures or sentences. Something that I want to mention about negative interrogative structure or negative interrogative sentence, with a contraction with am and also with am. When you are using is with a not, on the time you can contract it simply isn't. And also when you are contracting or plus a not, you can contract it simply aren't. But how can we contract am not? We can contract am not like aren't. It means that if someone asks us that is there any possibility of contracting am not, on the time we can say that am not changed to contraction form of aren't. So far, we need to use aren't in a state of am not contract form. For example, aren't I teaching now? It is the negative interrogative form. Okay, let's talk, or let's also have an example about the structure. How can we use present progressive tense with tag question? For example, on the time we can use you're teaching now. And because the first sentence or the first part of our sentence is an affirmative sentence, so the question fragment should be negative, aren't you? And also, as I mentioned, the verb ing is equal to present participle, or we can call verb ing a present participle form. Now let's talk about the rules of using ing properly in present progressive tense. And now we're going to talk about the rules of using ing in present progressive tense. The first rule is when a verb ends with e, on the time we need to drop e or we need to omit e, and we are going to add an ing at the end of our verb. For example, drive, we need to omit or drop the e, only add an ing at the end of your verb, driving. And the next one is for those verbs that they are ending with ie, you need to change ie to y and add an ing, like lying. And the third rule says that when the one syllable verbs, only one syllable verbs, which are ending with a vowel plus consonant, or they are ending with a consonant, and the consonant is preceded by a vowel letter, on the time you need to double the consonant letter at the end and add an ing, run, running, like this one. Also, I want to mention something else. For those two syllable verbs if the second syllable is stressed, begin, the second syllable is stressed, on that time you also can double the consonant letter at the end and add an ing, begin, beginning. But just I want to mention something, one thing which is really remarkable, that those verbs that they are two syllable, but the first syllable is stressed, on the time we cannot double the consonant at the end, and we only need to use an ing at the end of them to use them in progressive tenses. Okay, let's talk about a note. Although there is a note that do not double the consonants, we are not going to double the consonant or those verbs which are one syllable and they are ending with W, X and Y. We should not double these consonants which comes at the end. For example, fix and fixing. We only need to add an ing. And when a verb ends with vowel plus Y, only add an ing playing. And when the verbs are ending consonant plus Y, there's no rules of changing a Y to any other letters, only add an ing at the end of your verbs. For example, study, studying. Also, I want to mention something else, that other endings only gets an ing. It means there are lots of verbs that they are not ending with these letters on the time. You only need to add an ing to change the form of the verb to present participle form. Okay, I want to declare also the using of to be verbs with the subject pronouns. We need to use am with I, and we need to use are for we, you, and they, and we need to use is for he, she, and also it. Okay, boys and girls, it was our today's lecture about present progressive tense. We talked about definition of present progressive tense, rules of using ing, and also we talked about the structure of present progressive tense. I hope you enjoyed and learned some new things from our today's lecture. Do not forget to like and subscribe my YouTube channel. In case of any question, any suggestion, or any complaints, you can text me and also you can comment me. Wish you all the best. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.